For years, Zoë Kravitz lived in the shadow of two iconic figures in the entertainment world. Growing up in the public eye, she was seen as the epitome of effortless style, graceful, cool, and chic. However, behind this image was a childhood filled with emotional turmoil, including two major divorces and a complicated relationship with her mother, influenced by fame, distance, and difficult choices. Then, in an unexpected moment, Zoë finally opened up. What started as a regular interview quickly became a raw and emotional revelation, a confession that had been building inside her for decades. With tears in her eyes, she spoke of her mother, Lisa Bonet, whose love story with her father, Lenny Kravitz, once seemed untouchable. From the beginning, Lisa and Lenny's relationship was full of magic. Both were young, artistic souls, challenging Hollywood's norms. Lisa, already a cultural icon thanks to The Cosby Show, had a grounded yet mystical aura, while Lenny, still rising in his career, blended rock, soul, and funk. Their love was intense, and in 1987, they married. A year later, they had their daughter, Zoë Isabella Kravitz. To the public, they seemed like the perfect couple, bold, cool, and madly in love. But behind the scenes, cracks began to show. They were both still figuring themselves out under the weight of fame. Lenny, feeling the pressure of his rising career, began withdrawing. Lisa, on the other hand, longed for stability and intimacy to raise their daughter. As Lenny's career took him away more and more, on tours, in the studio, and chasing his dreams, emotional distance grew. Eventually, infidelity entered the picture, and Lenny later admitted to it, calling it one of the hardest truths he had to face. By 1991, their relationship ended, and the divorce was finalized in 1993. There were no public dramas, just two people who had loved deeply and now parted ways. For Zoë, the divorce meant living between two different worlds. She was raised in her mother's quiet, spiritual world in Topanga Canyon, a sanctuary away from the chaos of Hollywood. Lisa's parenting was deeply intentional, full of rituals, mindfulness, and a focus on emotional health. Zoë was homeschooled for a time, surrounded by books and art. There were firm boundaries, no wild parties, no sleepovers, no red carpet appearances. Lisa believed in protecting Zoe's emotional and creative core. But to Zoë, these boundaries felt more like chains. She craved independence, wanting to go to public school, make friends, and do what other kids did without feeling restricted. As she watched her father live a glamorous life, tours, parties, red carpets, she began to wonder if she had been wrong to side with her mother. Had her father once felt suffocated too? This question lingered, creating tension between mother and daughter. Lisa's intense love, though well-meaning, sometimes felt overwhelming, and Zoë often struggled to carve out her own identity. The clashes between them were inevitable, both being strong-willed individuals. One day, during a particularly emotional argument, Lisa broke down in tears, asking why Zoë couldn't understand her. Overwhelmed with rage, Zoë, at just 11 years old, made the decision that would change everything. She wanted to live with her father. Watching her daughter pack her bags broke Lisa's heart. Zoë left, but it would take years before she could fully understand the depth of the sacrifice her mother made. Living with her father, Lenny, felt like a dream at first. The rules of her mother's home were gone, replaced by freedom, fast-paced, dazzling, and intoxicating. They lived in Miami and New York City, and Zoë relished the chance to explore her independence. But as time passed, that freedom began to feel hollow. She missed the structure she had once rejected, and the emotional grounding she had found with her mother was missing. Though Lenny loved her deeply, his life of constant touring and promotion couldn't offer her the emotional stability she needed. As Zoë entered her teenage years, the lack of stability she had grown up with began to show. She experimented with the party scene, explored different identities, and struggled with big questions about who she was and what she needed. There were moments of rebellion, flashes of brilliance, and long stretches of loneliness. Zoë later admitted that while she had freedom, She lacked guidance and had to learn to protect herself because no one else was doing it. With maturity came an understanding of how much she had left behind at her mother's home. The rituals, the prayers, and the small reassurances that once felt burdensome, but now brought her comfort. She missed them deeply, though she never expressed it, neither to Lenny, nor to Lisa, nor even to herself. That quiet ache stayed buried for years until it eventually erupted in a moment of emotional reckoning the world wasn't expecting. This reckoning began when a new presence entered Lisa Bonet's life, a man who would bring love, protection, and healing. By 2005, after over a decade of quietly rebuilding her life away from the Hollywood spotlight, Lisa met Jason Momoa at a jazz club in Los Angeles. Their meeting wasn't just serendipitous. It was the fulfillment of a dream Jason had harbored since childhood. At just 8 years old, he had seen Lisa on The Cosby Show and told his mother he would one day marry her. The connection between them was immediate. They bonded over spirituality, art, nature, and an intentional way of living. Jason, rugged and warm-hearted, took great care of Lisa's heart and, more importantly, embraced her family. Shortly after they started dating, Lisa introduced him to Zoe, who was 16 at the time. Jason didn't try to act as a father figure. Instead, he simply showed up as himself, consistent, kind, and present. Their relationship formed quickly and authentically. He supported Zoe's career from the start, attending early premieres, cheering on her modeling achievements, and always speaking about her with admiration. He lovingly called her Zoso, and she called him Papa Bear, a nickname she later memorialized in a 2018 Instagram post. Zoe and her family shared many special moments, surfing together in Hawaii, celebrating birthdays, and attending red carpet events as a united family. When Jason and Lisa had 2 more children, Lola and Koa Wolf, Zoe took on the role of the big sister, showering them with love and referring to them as her babies in posts. For Lisa, after years of heartache, life finally felt peaceful. She radiated happiness, and Zoe, still finding her way, took comfort in seeing her mother loved so openly. In 2017, Lisa and Jason married in a private ceremony attended only by close family and friends. The news didn't break until months later, showcasing how private and protected their relationship was. Their love seemed unshakable, but beneath the surface, small cracks began to form. The differences that had initially drawn them together, Lisa's need for peace and grounding, and Jason's restless energy, started pulling them in opposite directions. At first, Zoe didn't notice these cracks. All she saw was her mother's happiness, and that was enough for her. But forever came sooner than anyone expected, and when Lisa and Jason's marriage ended, it hit Zoe harder than she could have imagined. The announcement of their divorce in January 2022 shocked the world. After 16 years together and only 5 years of marriage, the couple shared a heartfelt statement about parting ways while still holding love for each other. But behind the beautiful words, there was a painful truth. The bond that once seemed unbreakable had fractured. For Zoe, this divorce was not just another headline. It reopened old wounds, particularly the pain of seeing her mother's heart break once again. Though the reasons behind their separation were never fully revealed, sources close to the family spoke of an emotional drift. Jason's rising career, especially after Aquaman, demanded constant travel and red carpet appearances, while Lisa preferred the peace of home-based rituals. As Jason's fame grew, their once complementary lifestyles pulled them apart. For Zoe, the timing couldn't have been worse. She had seen her mother rebuild her life after the heartbreak with Lenny, and when she saw Lisa finally happy again, she believed she had found the love she deserved. So, when the divorce happened, it wasn't just surprising. It felt deeply personal. During this time, Zoe noticed a change in her mother's voice. It began to falter, reminding Zoe of when she left at 11. She withdrew from the public eye, becoming protective of her mother, handling media inquiries with silence and grace. Beneath this composed exterior, Zoë was grappling with deep emotional turmoil. The world quickly pointed out the pattern of family fractures, making it feel like Zoe's heartbreak was just another piece of the story. On top of the personal pain, the internet turned cruel, with trolls drawing unkind parallels between Zoe's failed marriage to Carl G. Guzman and her family's tragic love story. Some even blamed Lisa for Zoe's struggles in love, criticizing her unconventional parenting style. Zoë, who had always maintained emotional control, found herself blamed for both her own divorce and her mother's. In the midst of this, Zoë decided to speak her truth. During a 2025 interview, when the conversation turned to her mother, Zoe's guard finally came down. She spoke about the moment she left her mother at 11, and the deep regret she carried for seeking freedom and excitement over the more sacred bond with Lisa, who had only tried to protect her. Zoë acknowledged that while Lisa wasn't perfect, her love was unwavering. She also spoke about the lesson she learned from her mother. No one deserves to stay where they could be loved better. This realization shifted the tone of the interview and later the public conversation. Zoe's raw honesty wasn't about scandal. It was about the painful truth of love, relationships, and healing. Zoë emphasized that strength isn't about perfection. It's about showing up even when everything falls apart. Rather than defending her past marriage or engaging with the tabloids, Zoë focused on emotional resilience and healing. She found peace in the understanding that her relationship with Lisa no longer needed to be perfect to be meaningful. By embracing her vulnerability, Zoë inspired others to acknowledge their flaws and move forward with courage and self-compassion.